All right, spaceman, a turn of events here. So remember the last video I printed out um, these white rollers. Oops, these white rollers that were really nice and all that, and that the brown ones that I had printed out, I had told you were too small. Well, I reprinted the rings and I actually made them smaller. And so now there's no play using the original brown rollers. I don't know if you guys can hear. Let me take this off of here. Ah. Ah. Good God Almighty. They slip on so easy. There we go. So now I'm using the original brown rollers again. And so it's loose like this, right? It's, you guys can't see anything. It's loose like this, but once I put the second side on, they flow like crazy and there's no play. So I'm going to switch the magnets out of this old one here that everything is sticking to, nuts, screws, tools, and I'm going to take the magnets out of here, put it in this new green and white one, which rolls beautifully. It's in full contact with the rollers. There's literally no play, and when these are locked together, so yeah. Although I love the way these white ones came out, I may reprint the brown ones again just to make, because it's a nicer print. I don't know what I did differently, but let me get the magnets switched out. I also have to figure out how I'm going to seal these together. I don't want to do this screw method. I don't like it. So I'm going to either get some kind of rod, really thin rod. Right now I've got it temporarily held together with brass nails just to keep it together for testing the fit, and it's really good. There's literally no play. And in case there is, I printed out these little tiny spacers, which I may still use. Anyway, let me get going on this. So yeah, really quick, I finally figured out how to do this. So I found these little tiny brass screws, and I can do one on either side. Of course, I'll countersink these. But yeah, I'll do one on either side, and that should hold it really nice. I think even if I just tighten it down like this, wait a minute, I got to get my hip into it. Oops, sorry guys. I don't mean to do that. Yeah, I think even if I screw it down really tight, it'll go flush, but I will countersink that. Yeah, so let me get the magnets transferred. Actually, no, now that I know I can do this, I'm going to wind the coils. And basically here, hold on a second. Let me pause this for a minute. All right, so I made these coil or end stops for the coil, for winding the coils. I'm going to put these on here, and this will help me to wind the pancake coils. So something like that. They'll either be like that or they'll be like this. Probably not like that. Probably like this, nice and straight, I think. And I'm not really sure how big I'm going to do it. But I'll do that in conjunction with the coil winding jig. One side goes in there, the other side goes in there, and then I can wind it. So probably just like that, probably that much space. Let me see what that is. Probably like an inch. Yeah, if I do an inch and I make it that high, that should be good. Or maybe I should do it like 2 inches or an inch and a quarter. Yeah, maybe an inch and a quarter. Anyway, let me get winding. I'll come back once I have the winding set up. Really quick, if anybody has a hack or a cool way of doing this, so all of my nitrile gloves, you can see when they come, when you first get them and they're in the box, they're fine, but then after a while, they stick together in one giant hump. They still work, but I got to pull them apart. So if anybody's got a quick trick on how to do or set up or something, I don't know, let me know. All right, so here's my janky setup with my old coil winding machine, which has actually come into a lot of good use lately. I do have the newer one, but this guy, it has, it's got everything I need right there. And so this is all temporary. The hot glue is temporary. I did put hot glue around the outside edge there just to stop the wire from bending over or pushing out the coil. So I think I'm going to do just a little bit more. Once again, I forgot to count the turns, but I'll just measure the resistance and hopefully get it close. I'll measure the outside diameter. I know that's not the best way to do it, but we're getting there. I should have made the coil walls smaller, but it's cool. You know what drives me freaking nuttier than a fruitcake is, yeah, I'm done with the first one. It's not as big as I wanted it to be. But right in the middle, my thing broke, but that's no big deal. I can just put a bolt in there. But what drives me really batty, and I know this can't just be happening to me, you're building something and you're committed to a certain design, and like when you're almost done, and let's say you got to do 3 or 4 of them, when you're almost done with the first one, you realize that there's an entirely better way to do it, but you've already committed, so you're like, oh man, because I was just about to reprint these coil walls. I was going to make them smaller, and I was going to do a couple other things I forgot because I'm freaking tired. No, not really. But anyway, it's okay. It's about a half-inch, quarter-inch thick. It should do the trick. But if not, the new design with the new ones will be much better. Anyway, let me get going. And of course, like always, you figure out the best way to do it when you're doing the very last one. I didn't need, sorry, Spaceman, but that coil winding jig, the way I print it, it was no good. Because I print with 0.28 because I need speed. and well, actually, it's not because it was 0.28. It was because the infill was only like 25%, which is what I normally do. But for a tool like that, or for a jig like that, I should have did at least 50% infill. And I'm experimenting around with infill in different areas of the print, changing the infill. I forget what it's called. But anyway, these guys are coming out pretty good. I think I'm going to end up doing them over, though, because now that I know what I'm doing, it takes 3 times. That one came out terrible. That one's not too bad. This one's coming out really nice. But I'm going to give it a shot anyway and see what happens. Yeah, there's the The housing itself, my shop is a freaking disaster. My wife has been cleaning and she decided to put all the junk in right in the middle of all my tools. Anyway, God bless her. Anyway, I got a wooden doll in there, and it's a friction fit, and it works good. A doll with a screw in the end of it. So let's see what we can do here. Ciao. Yeah, that looks so much better than that blue and red rotor. Or, yeah, rotor. Nice and flush. Nice and straight. Straight like an arrow. Look at that. No curves in it or nothing. Of course, I gotta wait before I put the last one on. Because I have to put the coils on. And yeah, that's just the coils, yeah. Oh, actually, I can do that right now. All right, be right back. Getting that last one on was a little tricky. I didn't anticipate that. But now all I gotta do is take the tape off of the coil housing that's just holding the wire down. Get it in there. Yeah. I should be able to just put it all together because everything else is done in halves. These are halves. The only thing I got to get it around the roller, but that's not a big deal. All right, I'm going to see if I can get it done. Probably not get it wired up today, but at least get it finished. I owe you guys that. Well, so far so good. That actually went in there a little too easy. But it seems to be sitting in its little, let me get the stupid light out of the way. It seems to be sitting in their little, the tape is just to hold the wire down. They seem to be sitting in their little slots. I don't know. I gotta get down here to look to see if they're nice and easy. Let me see if I can get the top on or the other side on. Well, problems. I think I'm gonna have to go back to the original ring. Even though this one is so much nicer, it's a little too tight. And yeah, that's crazy. I don't understand why, because the rollers I put in were smaller rollers. Yeah, and also the coil body on all of them except for one doesn't sit well. So I'm gonna have to like cut some of the edge of the coil, like this edge right here. I'm gonna have to trim it down. But it looks cool. It just doesn't fucking work. Yeah, it's too tight. The whole thing is too tight, not just the ring. Which is to be kind of expected. I mean, I didn't think it was going to go together perfectly. So, back to the drawing board. No, actually, you got to take it apart. See where the so I think I might be able to fix it if I just fix these guys. The edge of that. I think if I can do that, it should drop in and it should be all right. But I don't know if I'm going to get it done today, guys. Ciao. So it looks like it's okay. I mean, all three of the rollers are connecting to it. I think I just had one of these was just twisted. Now, see, yeah, that's the problem. They're not all seating in their little slots. These have little cutouts here, if you can see. Has a little cutout there. You know what? I bet you if I get rid of that cutout and just sand this flat, I bet you that would fix it. Because see, when I spread them out to get them in that little... Yeah, this one's all messed up. Yeah, that's nice and heavy too now. So it has a little flywheel action when it starts going. Yeah, they seem to be sitting okay. And then this guy, go on here like this. And see, it's right here where it's not... Let me see if you can see that. Well, that seems to be okay. There we go. Yeah, no, see, that's where it gets tight again. And I don't know why it's doing that. It's not squeezing the... Oh, I see what's going on. Oh, I see what's going on. I have to get a bigger spacer in there. Aha! That's what it is. So I have these spacers here. The bottom one needs to be a little bit higher. And by the looks of that, we're talking about 1/8 of an inch higher. Okay, back to the printer. Cool. We have a plan of action. Ciao.